So tell us your name. I mean, I know what it is because I've seen the cheat sheet, but... Yeah.
Hello, my name is Diego Fernandez. I'm going to be a junior at South Salem High School. I study under Dr. Abigail Sperling and Martha Long, and yeah, I'm very excited to be here with you.
That's great. I'm so happy you're here. Tell me a little bit about the piece you're playing, because when I saw this, I was like, I don't know this piece.
Yeah,
it's
actually...
so excited.
It's an uncommon piece here in the United States, much more popular in New Zealand, where it was written by Mr. Anthony Ritchie.
Uh-huh.
He actually wrote it for Alexa Still in his residency over there when she was playing with the, I forget what orchestra was specifically.
Auckland, I think. Auckland Symphony, right?
I think it was actually a different one when he wrote this one, yeah.
Oh, when he wrote this one, okay.
Yeah.
I went to school with her. She's one of my really close friends.
That's cool.
I love her. She's fantastic.
I hope I do this piece justice then.
I'm sure you will. I'm excited to hear it. So which movement are you going to play? And thank you for bringing a copy.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing just the first movement today.
Oh, look how high that goes in measure 11. Yikes! Okay. Why don't you play a few notes just to get used to the space and... Nice hall, right?
Yeah, it's really nice. Wow. My first opportunity to kind of play in a hall like this.
Right. Oh, yay! Really?
Yeah.
But you play. It says that you play also in the Portland Youth Philharmonic.
Oh yeah, but like.
Not here.
Not here.
Okay.
Not here, like by myself with just emptiness.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Great.
Can I skip the major rests?
Yes, please. Beautiful. Wow, you sound great. You sound really fantastic. A couple things. Because this really uses the very high end of the flute and the very low end of the flute. I feel like the lower is just harder. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
And what do you find when you're playing? Like, what are you doing here?
I'm trying to kind of like make sure it's relaxed and the aperture is fairly wide and sort of. I'm thinking more flat and slow. Slow
air,
slow.
Right? And then and across, or in the downward direction, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm noticing is when you're going for the low register, because it's like you want it to come out and you want it to be loud, right? So sometimes what happens is we tend to force, and then it just makes the ear instrument kind of goes like that instead of like into the flute. So I'm gonna try something with you, okay? And then tell me, like, let's look at something really, really low first, okay?
I know there's a low section like here.
Oh yeah, that's too hard. Let's look at an easier low section. No, I mean it's not hard for you, but yeah, we could do that. But let's just try this first, okay? Because so can you just play right there just play the first 2 bars, and then I'm going to ask you to change one thing and see if you like it, okay? Okay, now, that's hard down there, right? And you can hear that the low C sharp is not speaking right away, right? So, and then, so if I'm here and I'm playing, let me see the notes. Right, that's where you are, right? So
yeah.
Now here's your position. I'm already having trouble, right? Now I'm going to take the flute and I'm going to do this. Now watch this. Nothing else is moving. How's that?
It sounded a lot more kind of like present.
Right. So what I'm doing actually is I'm taking the flute, and this is like a Rompal thing. I'm taking the flute from here, where, hear how thin the sound is? Now I'm going to walk the flute this way, and I'm going to take it off this corner of my lip. Because what's happening is as you're going to get the sound out, you're kind of bearing on the corners. They're coming down and it's taking your airstream and it's pulling it out of the flute instead of going down. So let's see how much we want to mess with this. Yeah. And it's really just for the low register, and I'll explain why in a second. But so pick up the flute and play where you normally play, and then let's just have a little bit of fun. Right there, yeah. Right. Now bring the flute forward like this far. Yeah, now play that low C sharp.
Ooh.
Right? It's kind of smoky, right? Then also bring your head down a tiny bit and do the same thing again. Like bring it, like walk it, like it's like a good 3 inches, right? Much easier, right?
Yeah.
Now play in that position. Play that tune there. Now, when you start, don't tell your flute how long it's going to be. Make it guess. What are the notes? Okay. Really, Tara? Oh, they're hard. Okay, let's skip the E. How do you like that?
Yeah, it feels kind of like similarly to how I'm going to blow in like the middle register.
Exactly. So the thing about the head joint is that there's, for the low register, you want to think that the dark side of the flute is kind of over here, and the sweeter side of the flute is on this side. So when I bring the flute forward, like I would never taper in the high register in this position. No way, no how. Because too much air is going into the tube. I want to control how much air, probably bring it back. So when you're playing in the low register, like if I'm down, let's look at that other noodly bit. This one here too, yikes! Right, it's supposed to. It allows me to bring my top lip forward also, and I can direct the air better. If you're far back, what happens is the top lip gets pressed against the teeth, and then the air is also like that. Yeah. So try again. Start here. So you're gonna be here, like here, then. See the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, try. Right.
Yeah.
Now do it once where you stay in the same position, you don't come forward. It's harder to get it out. It wants to crack because you're not getting the air into the tube. So it encourages to get the flute off the bottom part of the face, right? So now play the whole passage here, and then you're down, you stay down there, and then you come back to your other position when you get to here. Okay? Right there. One more time. Right. Now the other thing that's happening actually is, have you heard this before, that maybe sometimes you press a little hard on the flute?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening actually is that your flute's wiggling, so you're not making contact. Like the one place that you really kind of need to maintain stability is right here where the reed, this is your reed, where the reed is of the flute. So as you come down, try to actually hold more of the flute in the left hand and think more about lifting your fingers in the right hand. It's gonna sound really weird. Like, okay, ready? This is crazy, but go like this with your hand. What position is it in?
Sort of kind of like an upward, just like about to grab something kind of?
Yeah, your hand is almost closed, right? Now go like this and relax. So which one takes more energy, this or that?
Open.
Right, so the same thing on the flute is like if you just lift your fingers rather than squeeze, you actually will get faster, and then you'll also maintain stability. If I have to move a lot of this hand, I'm definitely going to be holding the flute more here, just balanced here, thumb forward, and then playing so the flute doesn't move. So I can be all around here without it going like vertically up and down, because that vertical displacement also changes how much air goes into the instrument. Does that make sense? So let's think about that. Maybe raise the flute a little bit as you get down lower, okay? And how's that feel?
It felt a lot more kind of like control. Like I didn't need to do too much besides like just movement.
Just move a little bit forward, right? And it's very, like if you look at pictures of Ron Paul, like if you watch Ron Paul videos,
yeah,
I love Ron Paul. It's one of my, like, that sound is just in my ear, you know? And a very stable player, like there was like nothing. He wasn't all over the place. He was amazing. Okay, so that's the first thing about the position. Now the next thing is the breath with the D, the breath of your sound and the support that you use when you play, right? That's a big issue. So how do you find, for instance, like this passage, like right here, it's just a scale, right? It's a B, it's an F major scale. Can you play it once for me? Right, so you see a crescendo under, right? So what I hear is like your sound is not really changing as it goes. Like I don't feel like you're supporting ba-da, 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 ba-da. I feel like it's ba-da, 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 ba-da. Right, you're letting up. So as I go up with the airspeed, because I'm making a crescendo, I'm gonna actually support it with an increased velocity. So instead of, that's not doing anything. That's doing a little bit of just like Like you're in the car and the tires are on the road, you turn the corner, but you're not slowing down.
Yeah.
So can you just try increasing the airspeed on the last 3 notes of this? Do it again, yep. Good, now you can hear the connection between the E and the D. We're going from a place where there's little resistance to more resistance, so you really have to start increasing the airspeed like as you leave the D, not just on the E. Otherwise you'll get a lump in your sound. Try it again. There you go. How does that feel?
It felt more kind of like just like one motion.
Exactly. So what I hear in your playing, like I hear like you sound so great. You have like really, really beautiful color to your tone. You're a lot of control, but the scope of your dynamics are not like your forte doesn't really like get really loud, because I know you're also trying to control the pitch, right? Yeah. There's that too. So as you go up, just try to increase the airspeed just a tiny, tiny bit. Even when you're noodling here, let me just say, it's supposed to. And then, you know, like just kind of like following the line up.
Yeah.
Can you try that? Yeah, good. Don't give up right there. That was already so much more interesting to me. Like, did it feel like it's more fun to play?
Yeah, it felt a lot kind of like, when I do this introduction, I kind of think of something kind of like laid back. It's not too like energetic just yet, and that kind of gave it that little bit of characteristic, if that makes sense.
Right. So can you go like this with your hand? I'm gonna do this. Okay. So I'm gonna meet your hand. Okay. Now touch my yeah. Now push against my so that there's a steady push against me, move me, push me. Go ahead. That's what I need you to feel. Not tension, but I need you to feel that. Yeah. And then that accent here, that it's not really an accent, but you're going to taper. Because all of your notes are shaped like bells anyway, right? You play a note, doi, and it comes out like ba, like it's like a vibraphone, right? When you strike a vibraphone, you hear this glow in the tone, and you hear the initial articulation, and then it kind of goes like ring, ring. And that's the ringing that we need, right? So the E is going to give you a little bit less sound, and then you're going to be able to then crescendo again.
Yeah.
Okay? Try it. Yeah, good. Go all the way to the yada ba, and then come back. Yada ba. Jazzy. Yes! Now, do you hear the difference between that?
Yeah.
See, now I feel like you're in it. Before I thought, wow, this is like, you can really play, like you sound so great, but you weren't like committed to the shape of the line. Now, I want to tell you something else, that a great teacher, there's like, Sandra Vague is a great violinist, my husband is a violinist, and we're really inspired by great musicians of the past and the future and the present. But he would say, you know, like, when you see the shape of the line, like if the line goes up, make a crescendo. If the line goes down, make a diminuendo. Don't do nothing. Because you're maintaining control. Like, and as wind players, we're taught to control everything and like make sure you don't get too sharp and too this and too that. But what happens is we stop playing musically as a result of it, because we get overly self-conscious. The string players, they're playing in tune. They worry about all that stuff too. But they actually, you can see everything is outside. You can see how much energy they play. You need to have a lot more energy too. And you can hear here like like that's a cute little thing. Like if you were to take actually just a piece of transparent paper and put it over the top and just draw the note heads, you would see the shape of the line. And that would feel like a roller coaster. You want to feel like up is down, down is up. You want to feel the energy through that line. Yeah. So can you play a little bit more from here? Good, now here, that's great, now here. on your piano, what does the air need to do?
Get faster.
Yeah, it needs to get way more pressure, because forte air is like, hey, I'm riding the wave, I'm good, right? You got the wave, you're good. Then suddenly this piano air, and it's like, and the piano air goes like this, out of the flute. So piano, mezzo piano, it's air under way more pressure. It's so much less air, but it's under more pressure. That's why sometimes when you articulate in the soft registers, you're not getting a front to the note, because the air speed isn't fast enough. And then you're relying on your tongue to make the sound, but the tongue only cuts up the sound. The tongue does not support the air. The tongue is just articulation. Everything else is done with your intercostal muscles and all of that, right? And the air speed.
Yeah.
So faster air here, so your tongue can be lighter, and let's see if it gets crisper. Okay.
Do you want me to start right there?
No, well, pick a spot there, maybe. I loved the opening, by the way. I want to hear the C articulated, so the C has to be shorter. Right, so there's a... See how much less? I can't see that. Okay. So the it's so dark I can't see anything. So much you can almost hear like. There's a lot of like it's not. It's. That air is coming out fast. Go ahead. Yeah. See, aren't you glad we're vaccinated? All this air we're blowing up here. Go ahead. Yep. Good. Keep going. Yes. That's great. Keep going. Nice. And if that, can you push crescendo through it?
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's like you're doing this to it as opposed to like ba-da-da-da-da-da. Like if a composer writes something once, he means it. If he writes it again, he really means it. And if he keeps writing it, he really means it. You know, so you should be committed to it. Either you're going to make a crescendo or a decrescendo. In this case, we don't want to see decrescendo. And I can see somebody's written a crescendo there too. Yeah. I wonder who that was. Okay, here we go. Now this is, what finger are you using for that note? Good, your G sharp key is down. Excelente. Go ahead, right there. Do you know the Rodrigo Concerto?
Yeah.
That's like a dead quote from it, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah,
how
totally.
The octaves always. And
right. Oh, wow. Right, exactly. Right there. Good. And when you stay with your sound like that, and can you come down and just try to bring the flute a little bit forward? Does that help at all?
Yeah. I think it's because I have a tendency to kind of like want to arrive, so then it makes me just huff a little too hard.
Okay, so when you're here, lighten up the sound a little bit here, increase the airspeed from here.
Okay.
Just increase it from the A flat. Let's see what happens. Could be a disaster. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because also balancing the registers is knowing where to increase the air and where to decrease the air. So if you find that you're cracking something, it means you're coming into it too hot, right? And if you can play smoothly into it, then the airspeed is probably right. But there's always turnarounds. And that's the other thing I wanted to tell you about was, where's a place where you crack? You hardly crack at all, so it's hard to find one. But
probably
in the cadenza?
Yeah, like these weird noodle things.
Yeah, are you playing all regular fingering there?
Besides this one, yeah.
Okay, all right. There was when you come down like this stuff. Okay, it's like this kind of thing. Can you play right from here, Piamoso? Good. Now, can you energize ta-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da, and crescendo, yay. So be a little bit like, but da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, be lighter on the app, da-da-da-dee, da-da-da-dee, da-da-da-da. So more energy on those notes, a little bit lighter on the top. So you get more sculpted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so you get that kind of like the articulation helps you make the phrase, but also you're not trying to play forte through here. You're going to be lighter there and then make this crescendo all the way through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Am I out? Okay, all right, you sound phenomenal. But so basically, just to recap, it's the positioning of the low register and also finding places where to, like in this thing here, ya-da-da, ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Play right here really quick while they get the next person. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. From here, crescendo, crescendo from here, crescendo from here. Right, as opposed to now play just where you go ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. Less clean,
yeah,
right? Because you're going to take these 3 notes in the articulation that you make, then you're going to energize through here. Try it again. So these 3 notes fall in the sound of the first articulation, and then you energize. Try it again, one more time the other way. Right, you just got to slow your fingers down at the top, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, this is great. I hope that was helpful.
It was. Thank you so much.
You
for
sound great.
Giving me this opportunity.
You're going to be a flutist, right?
Yes.
I think you absolutely should be.
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing more of you and seeing your name everywhere.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. What are you playing on too, by the way?
Oh, I'm playing on a pro right now.
Beautiful. They're great flutes.
Yeah. It's helped me.
Can I just see how you're set up? Let me just look at your setup really quick. Awesome. Great. Phenomenal. Thank you. Your music.
Yes. Shipped all the way from New Zealand, so.
Incredible. Yeah.
Thank
Wonderful.
you so much.
Beautiful job. Thank you. Amazing. Really great. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Good. And tell everyone who you are.
Hello, my name is Mia Sanders. I am 15 years old and will be a sophomore at Grant High School in fall. I have been playing flute for just under 3 years, and today I will be performing Sonata in D major by Leonardo Vinci, Movement 1, Adagio.
Fantastic. Okay, let me just take a look. Okay, I'm going to actually make a little snapshot of it. Do you mind? Because I don't have this one. This is the second piece I don't know today, but I'm excited because there's so much flute repertoire. But you know, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Great, beautiful. You sound great. Really wonderful. Okay, so when do you think this was written? Do you know?
It says that he was alive 1690 to 1734. So.
Right. So what era is that sort of?
Let me see. Baroque.
Yes, Baroque, and then it kind of goes over the over the cusp, as they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So great. So that means that your trills are all going to start from which note? The upper note, unless what?
I don't know.
Okay, so unless they're preceded by the note that you are trilling to. So in which case, sometimes you want to do like a double appoggiatura, right? So in this case, like the upper note is fine. This is upper note, right? So that for sure is an upper note. But for this one, we're coming from the top. That's nice to do it coming from down. That one's upper. Right. And then also, what about the Appoggiatura? They're all good, I think, yeah. Yeah, upper note, yeah. What about, how long do you want to do that little grace note-y thing?
So according to my teacher, this one right here, where there isn't the slash through it, it's supposed to be more even, but the other ones are supposed to be kind of shorter.
Okay, great.
That is
good.
my understanding of it.
That's correct, absolutely. Okay, now, let's start from the beginning one more time.
Okay.
And this is pretty ornate, and I wonder, like, have you guys talked about ornamentation?
A little bit, minorly, not a lot.
And what has your teacher said about it?
Just kind of that this era, a lot of music had a lot of ornamentation.
Oh, totally.
But not exact specifics.
Right. You know, a good thing to look at actually are the, can I write on this? Do you mind if I
Yeah.
write? Okay. Just like start writing on your stuff. But there's a, you know, George Philip Telemann, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he wrote like 12 methodical sonatas, and they're on IMSLP.
Yeah.
And I mean, oh, that's not spelled correctly. Now it is. Okay. And what they are actually is you see these kind of slow movements that are just very simple, like half note, quarter note, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then underneath it, there's like an incredibly ornate version. So he actually did these versions of these. Yeah, so you can study ornamentation by looking at the slow movements of these sonatas. So you can see like how all this like gets filled in and
Yeah.
you know, anyway, but this is all pretty much stepwise and scalar. So you might, add a few things in, but we can talk about that a little bit later. First thing we want to make sure that we do is we take it's like mezzo forte, right? Mm-hmm. Big breath, right? So I feel like take a good breath, but maybe you're not using your air. Do you feel that way? Have you heard that before?
I've been working on breathing a little bit. It's still a little new to me, the specifics of it.
Okay, so tell me what your understanding of it is, because maybe I can help you with that also.
So one of the things that my teacher has been saying is that I have to push more of my air out from lower. Like I'm not using my full lung capacity.
Yes.
So I've been working on long tones,
yeah,
and stuff like that, trying to increase those muscles and use them more effectively.
Do you understand how this whole system works?
Mostly, I would say.
Okay, so and tell me what your understanding of it is, because everybody's understanding is slightly different. And part of the reason why this is so complicated, it's not your fault, it's not anyone's fault, it's because everything is invisible. Okay, it's like string players, everything is like, okay, violin, bow, everything. I mean, they make a much better sound than that, but it's like you can see everything. You can see the attack. You can see. We don't have windows or zippers. Like, look what my stomach is doing when I do that. Like, so everything is like mysterious. And then people they talk a lot about support, and some people just say sing more, and then so you can start to get very confused, and then you start to use your muscles in really like weird ways, and then you go through life without really understanding it. So what is and I'll tell you what my understanding of it is, and then we can see how close they are, and then maybe we can make a new understanding. Okay.
So my understanding is that when you breathe really deeply, everything kind of opens, and you breathe into all the sides of your lungs, especially the back.
Yes, good.
And down into your stomach. And then when you are blowing into a flute, not just breathing out, but like blowing, you can kind of use your diaphragm, and you like lift and push kind of up almost. That's what it feels like to me.
Okay, so yes, but let's talk about that. Yes, this is all really, really good. And that you said that the air goes into the back, that's all really, really important. So, okay, a way to get a really deep breath actually is through your nose. Breathe in through your nose once. It goes deeper. Now, let's talk about the torso.
Okay.
Because there's a lot going on. Now, you have muscles around your ribs, and you have your stomach, which is in your abdominal cavity, and your lungs, which is in your thoracic cavity. And you don't have to remember these words, but there's a really great article. If you send me, like after class, I'll just write down my email address. And I forgot to give this to Diego, and if we can get my email address to Diego, that would be great too, because I'm happy to answer any questions you have. But I have an article that I think will be really helpful for you. It's by my friend and colleague Ransom Wilson, who's been here at the festival many years, and he teaches at Yale University. And he wrote this brilliant article for the National Flute Association pedagogical anthology thing. Anyway, and he goes through this whole thing and talks about the mechanisms and everything with all the fancy words I'm about to use. And then I put diagrams in because I thought like it needed some diagrams, some color pictures and things, because people like pictures when they're reading, scholarly articles. Anyway, so you have the thoracic cavity, which has the lungs, and you have the abdominal cavity, which has all the other stuff, okay? And the thing that separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity is your diaphragm. But your diaphragm doesn't really have anything to do with support. Which is why, can you feel it?
Not really.
Not really. And the diaphragm is so cool because what it does is when you say, I want to play the flute, you breathe in and it does this really cool thing, and I'll tell you what that does in a second. And then when you're sleeping at night, you don't have to think, I want to stay awake and I want to live, so I better make sure that I'm breathing every breath. Your diaphragm just kind of does its thing all night long. So it's voluntary, it's a striated muscle, it's an involuntary and voluntary muscle. You can act upon it, but it also just does its thing, which is really good, okay? Because it keeps us alive.
Important.
Yay, bonus, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is, when you breathe in, there's this muscle, the diaphragm goes from here and to the back, right? So it's basically like a pizza when it's fully extended, and when it goes, when there's no air in your body, it goes up into like a bowl shape. So you say, I want to breathe, I want to play the flute. And the diaphragm says, okay. And what happens is you say breathe in, and the diaphragm goes like this, boom. And it turns into a pizza. And then it creates negative pressure in your lungs and pulls the air in.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's so cool. Then you got all these muscles along the ribs, right? You got your intercostal muscles. This again, I'll send you the article. Don't worry about it. There's no quiz. Okay. And what happens is the intercostal muscles, there's two sets. There's internal, of course, and external, right? So the internal ones, when you breathe in and say, I'm going to breathe, I'm going to play the flute, the internal ones say, okay, everybody get ready. And then the diaphragm goes, pizza, that they relax and everything goes like this. And then the external intercostal muscles, we got to get this air out of here now. We got the air and we got to get it out. And they push the air out like bellows, like when you fan a fire with those bellows. So that's what happens. That's the mechanism. Now, interesting. Here's what support is. The intercostal muscles, they're big, they got air, they're supporting all the air. The external intercostal muscles say, we're getting rid of it. And the internal intercostal muscles say, we're going to go at this rate. So the opposition of those two forces is support. It's like when you get on your bike and you're riding your bike around town and you have an outer tube and the inner tube. And when you don't have a flat tire, that inner tube keeps the outer tube in good shape so you can get home from school. Yeah. Okay, that's what support is. All you really have to do is control the air and the speed that you're doing it with, and make sure the air goes deep enough. And it's a very relaxed thing, as opposed to being a really tense thing, which is, I think, what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And you know how I can tell you're feeling that? Because when you play, you're not blowing enough air. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So
this is fascinating.
Well,
I'm a total science nerd, so this whole muscle talk is
my goodness. Oh, see,
cool.
I'm a science nerd, but I don't know anything. So I would like to be a science nerd, but
I'm always the one who's nerding out when everybody else is sleeping. So.
Okay, so you need to totally. That's a T, okay? OC, right? HOC. Okay, totally do that, and I will get that to you.
Yeah,
then you're gonna love it. So have you done finger breaths yet? Have you done those?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna go like this. Open your mouth, put this finger like that, go like this. Okay, now, but I want you to take a really big one, like, and listen.
Yeah.
I want to take more air than I need.
Okay.
Okay, so let finger breath. Here we go. Okay, try it. Now stop. Now. And do another phrase. that feel sound-wise now?
Feels more open.
Yeah,
Feels
it's
bigger.
way bigger.
Okay.
It's way bigger. So what I like about the finger breath is that the sound that you make tells you like how much air, like the pitch of the air tells you if it's here like this, you're not getting any air in, right?
Right.
Mouth has to be open, but also what it does when you put the finger here, it's like this, you have resistance, so it forces you to actually breathe in a little fuller and faster.
Huh.
This is a Keith Underwood thing. He's one of my teachers too. He's incredible, actually. And do you have one of those ping pong ball machines?
No.
Okay, you need to get one of those because those are. All right, I'm gonna write that down because the ping pong ball machine is going to show you. That's like not. There's a similar one that they give you when you've had surgery, but this one is way more high tech than that one. Ping pong ball. It's on Amazon. And it looks like a colored tube, and it's got a ping pong ball on the bottom. And then it's got 2 straws that comes with. Take the little one and like use it for drinks. You want the big fat one for flute because flute is like the bottomless pit of air.
Resistance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You create resistance here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Now, airspeed is controlled by how fast you blow, not how hard you tongue. Right? This trill is going to be from the upper note.
Okay.
Which is going to be hard. Try it. You're going to love it. Wait, first take a finger breath. Yep.
Should I add a turn or no turn?
Because he's on the cusp, you totally can.
Okay.
It's called the Nachschlag.
Interesting.
That's how you spell it. I'm not German, I'm Irish. Gotta go from here again. Nice. Now take a finger breath. And you want to do there. If you're going to do the C sharp to D, leave these fingers down. Why lift them? Yeah. This is kind of Baroque anyway.
Okay.
Try it. It's going to be really weird. The teacher's going to be like, why did you try to leave that down? Like, what's that?
Trill.
Oh.
Just makes me think of it.
Yeah, there's just one Nachschlag. Don't put the trill on there. Yeah, so actually you're just going to write these 2 little dudes in.
That works.
But doesn't that nice? And also it kind of keeps the C sharp from getting really sharp, if you know what I mean, right?
I do know what you mean.
Right, because my teacher always told me to play C sharp with these 2 fingers down anyway. Like,
really? Always?
always. But like sometimes you can't get to it. Like if you're playing really fast notes, it's like, oh, forget it. No, just lift them. But
on long notes.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind you like stopping and actually really just taking a good finger breath and then getting in again. So take a finger breath from here and go. That's not a good one. Yeah. So and actually let's do a slow one like this. Look, listen. Nice. Yes. Yeah, okay, so this is, you don't have this key, right? The extra doolittle here?
No, I don't.
Right, so then I'm so sorry to say you have to do this. Thumb, L1 and thumb are what you have to do. L1 and thumb. Wow, 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 wow. And here, I would put the breath here because I feel like we've had a lot of 8th note pickups. So definitely just organize your breathing here.
Okay.
Okay, go from there. Good, and let's play that once together because now you're like, This is quite a long value, and it's not that long. Does that make sense? Go from here with me to, I'll probably play wrong notes because I can't see and I don't know this piece. We're ready. Right, and what's really cool about this one, because this note is the upper note, this is like a long appoggiatura, so I might even do this, you know what I'm saying? Might like do that and go like this. So, and not articulate the B.
Okay.
Try it from the F sharp. You might like it.
I didn't breathe in deep enough.
Good, and one more time with me just for timing. 2. Keep going, go ahead. Okay, now, this is hard to get to, right? So, actually play these 2 notes a little bit lighter, and then make a crescendo right there, and then take a breath here. Go ahead. Good. And try not to help yourself by dipping the flute, because when you dip the flute, then you kind of lose contact point. So look where I am. I'm in the wrong line is where I am. Flute's just stable. Okay. I find that when I have lots of notes, if I don't move a lot, I probably have a better luck of getting them all out.
Interesting.
If this is like, can you imagine playing a piano and when it gets hard, the piano starts to move for you?
Yeah, that would be hard.
That would be really awful, right? So try to think of my keys as like a keyboard on a piano. So it's just like, why make it harder by changing the distance from my fingers? Mm-hmm. So even though like when I put the flute down, the fingers are slightly different height than they would be if they were here, right? The distance slightly increases, depending upon how tense you are. Right? Yeah. The other thing that might really help you too is when you go home, you want to lay on the floor with your knees kind of like bent like this. So you're basically going to do this, and then put a book under your head like this. And your knees have to be up so that your back goes into the floor, so you can feel when you breathe in your back expanding. Start your practice session like that, just breathing.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's really going to help you. It's really going to help you kind of get in touch with the muscles. Because when we stand up, actually, if you lock your knees at all, are you a knee locker?
Every so often, it changes depending on.
Okay, so lock your knees for a second and feel where your hips are.
Oh, they're much higher.
Yeah, and then now bend, and now lock your knees like this and breathe in, and you'll find that you can't get any air into your tummy, into the tummy area, right? That's because these muscles are stretched and these muscles are contracted because the back part of your back is higher.
Flares your pelvis a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if you bend your knees a little bit, like you're riding the subway, we're riding the A train, okay? You're in New York with me, ride the subway, ride. Okay, now breathe in. So much better.
Yeah, you can get it way deeper and more
way
open.
Deeper. So try like if you're a knee locker, walk out, lock your knees, and be like, not gonna play like this. Okay, I'm gonna ride the subway. That's why my pants are always like this, so you can't see my knees. Like I'm skiing. Yeah, no, it's not that extreme, but yeah, exactly. Go from here.
Core workout.
Right, like against the wall where the hostage is, right?
Exactly.
Is that what they are? Right? Yeah, against my. The squat
like
things, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, go from here. Good. Now, can I ask you one?
Breath at the end.
But also, there's two things you're doing, which might be interesting to know.
Okay.
I sometimes think that you open your mouth, but you don't actually breathe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Listen for a second. Like, okay. Tons of air.
Yeah.
So let's just hear if we can hear you breathing.
Well, now I'm going to think about it. So I'm
Well,
definitely gonna
now you're
breathe.
probably going to breathe, right? Exactly. All right. Let's just listen to that. Listen to, and I don't do this. Like, check this out. I don't go like, this is another bad habit that most people have, which I had to break. Like, if I can sense if there's a bad habit, it's because I've had it.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
So, I mean, it's human, right? Human experience.
Everybody
so,
ends up with the same bad habits.
Exactly. Because we're like, you're not that different, right? If I go like this, if like, that is the worst breath on the planet because I kind of like stopped the air and then I was like, and then I took a breath really late. So I'm going to do something now where I call fill the space with the breath. What key am I in? That's a good key. Right? So try that from here. Like you really fill the space with the breath, okay? As soon as you stop playing, just turn the air around. Don't worry about it. Again.
Okay. I'm thinking about my breath now.
I know, it's okay. Breathe. Yeah, what do you think?
That is better. It feels better.
Yeah, of course it does. Okay, I have just one more second, right? Okay, now this note here is going to be on the upper note here,
Okay.
right? Just get these all on the uppers.
all the trills.
The other thing that I don't hear you doing consistently is articulating. Have you heard that before?
I'm sure I probably have. I've basically heard everything before.
Right, so try that in our last remaining 30 seconds. No pressure. Okay, so
That is the worst possible thing you can say to somebody
I
who's
know,
about to play.
that's right. I know, because you're like, air. Oh, no, I'm laughing. Right, now, with a little more airspeed,
Right.
that would be awesome. But did you also hear that when you start tonguing, you actually use less air? Because the tongue is delivering the note
Right.
to the... Right, so just articulate.
Yeah.
Like you do really nice articulation here, but like throughout the whole thing, you're slurring kind of the whole thing, which was really interesting to me. So when you get that ping pong ball thing, blow the air in, blow the air out, blow the air in, and then take the air in, and then double tongue like... and keep that ball up, and you'll be like, oh man. And then when that gets easy, start covering holes. Don't cover all of them because you'll blow the ping pong ball out the bottom. But cover one hole for more resistance. Then you can really feel how much air you really need to move to play the flute and how much air you need. Basically what you want is like, you want like a gas tank that never runs below half empty. So you
Yeah,
have
that's
all
a
that
good way of seeing it.
reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. You sound great.
Thank you so
So
much.
nice to meet you.
This was so helpful.
I'm so glad. And do email me because
Yeah.
I will send you that article
I will,
and you will
totally.
flip. Just do
Yeah.
it tonight.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Sure. Bye. It's great. So fun. We have WIDOR. Hi.
Hi.
I'm looking at your name, but I've never seen that spelling. It's so cool.
Autumn?
No, this. I've never seen that spelling.
Oh, Denice?
With usually with an S, right? Where's Denice from?
I don't know where she's from, but I know she went to college at U of O.
Cool. I love it. I just like that's so cool. Okay, so can you introduce yourself for the camera because we have to do that?
Do you want me to say the...
Yeah, say everything.
Okay. Hello, my name is Autumn Anderson, and today I will be playing the first movement of the Suite by WIDOR.
Yep, and it's such a beautiful piece, and I'm Tara. It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
So just play it.
Sure. I mean, and also if there's like a spot that you're kind of flipping out about, like I know what I flip out about in this piece, but this piece makes me but it's like the most beautiful piece, one of the most beautiful pieces for the flute, I think. It's so inspired, you know?
Yeah.
I love this piece, so.
It's a very pretty piece.
And have you done the whole thing yet, or you just started?
I have done the first 3 movements. I have not done the finale yet, though.
Okay, make sure that you get the correct addition for the last movement, and also that if you're probably not using IMSLP, right? Because there's a truncated version on IMSLP, and the piano part is different and all like slightly different in a few places. The Henle edition is really good of this one.
All right.
Okay, just so you know, yeah.
I normally just use YouTube for piano accompaniment.
That should be okay, but I mean, when you do it for a recital.
Yeah.
Are you doing it for a recital soon?
No, not anytime soon.
Okay, but you should totally program this because it's so pretty.
I will.
Okay. And you also play you're at the Metropolitan Youth Symphony.
Yes.
You guys, how many orchestras do you have here?
Just 2.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, very cool. All right, go ahead. Great, beautiful. That sounds great. You know, you're like a hero because you don't breathe. It's kind of amazing. I take way more breaths than you do. Way more. Is that like a conscious choice, or just because they're not written in, or?
It is a conscious choice. I have worked with my teacher on the best places to breathe.
Yes, yes. But I also find that the piano part is kind of a bear in this.
Okay.
And it's very, very thick. So I wind up playing with a little more power to the sound most of the time, to cut, and then so that I can really make a difference between the pianos, the pianissimos. So the way the piece starts is kind of with an ender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So can you have a little more weight on the G natural? So it's a little more. Okay, now just as we go. Then the low register. Now, the only difference with that, they can really hear like the Appoggiatura, right? You can really hear the leading tone. Now, I want you to connect when you change octaves to the G. So that means you need to move the lips forward and increase the airspeed so you can really sync on the G. Yeah, so you're stopping the air here. And then I hear it. Really connect. Does that feel different?
Yeah, I definitely hear what I'm doing now.
Right. So, yeah, you just really need a lot of resistance when you're doing that. Now, when you're going on, is it an eighth note, 16th? A real different from the position. So, from when I'm playing mezzo piano, mezzo forte. Really forward for the top. Good. And actually, try this for 1 second for me. You're going to play this with the sound that you just did, but then here, maybe just a little smoother with less vibrato, actually, so you also don't waste it. But so it has a feeling of being a little more linear as opposed to like fluffier. Does that make sense? We're looking for a little bit more line here. One more time from here. Sounds fantastic. That's right. How do you like that?
It felt different.
Yeah. Also, but I feel like now you're playing with just a tiny bit more presence, which I think is better. It'll carry a little bit better, but also I feel like the sound needs to be well supported. And in piano, when you're blowing less air, it just has to be faster, because that faster air will give you the power you need to go
Forward.
Yeah, to actually have the sound spin forward. So now, then we have a different color altogether. Then this is a little bit more like, you're like, oh yes, everything is fine. And then you think, oh, did I put the stuff out? Like, it's like, oh, what? There's a lot of this like not self-doubt, but there's like this outward feeling of things. And then there's like this sort of like inner angst in this piece. And I feel like the contrast between those two things is really, really important. And so if you can define color and depth of tone as ways of expressing those different kinds of emotions, I think you'll have an even more colorful performance than you do right now. So, and it's very colorful, but I'd like it to be even more overtly opposite as opposed to kind of similar, right? So, then here, so there's three different things going on. This is like and then you know, try that. So See, I don't feel like, yeah, are you supporting right there?
I'll try again.
Yeah, because your pitch is just a little bit lower than where you want it to be. So just slightly faster. Blow like the air when you're playing, like right about here.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, play it. I'll put my hand up when you get there. Right. How does that sound?
It sounds better.
Right. It just sounds like it's more supported, right?
Yeah.
So instead of like thinking like I'm just going to blow the air to here, blow the air beyond the page a little bit, so that there's like pick a point, like, you know, when I'm playing, I'm like, I want my sound to go to that spot over there, you know, or like over there, you know, just not here.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's really, really important in this, is that concept that appoggiaturas are all over the place, is that the weight of the first note is always more than the second. So sometimes you're connecting. And make sure that you taper those. Then here we have the same idea again. That's where the pitch needs to be, not right. So from here. Now darker instantly. Yeah, now this is where I would just be breathing more, right? So, because, I mean, that's really fun. Like, you play like 10 or 12 bars at a time in one breath, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, no, I don't do that. But that's just me. So, listening. Like I'm really thinking about depth. Like I want my tone to be really dark and really light and all the stuff in between. Mm-hmm. And for that I need more air, personally, right? But you hear how I'm like really shaping, like I'm like kind of uber, like over shaping, because it's very, very thick otherwise too. And I just like this inspires me to play like that. I don't know, just me. But can we go from I don't know, here, we didn't do this part, but we started this and then I stopped you here. So, but start there. And every time you play piano, I'm gonna go like this, just to make sure that you're getting there faster, okay? Breathe. Taper. Now, go to the E flat, right? And now. Now start in that color. Yeah, I would start less there. I would still, because you have like two of those phrases, so. Right in the same sound.
Okay.
Right, but again, make sure, like you're looking for something, it's not stationary. So make sure that air is always moving, or I'll make you do that. And it's really hard to do that, actually. And vibrate the very first note. Just vibrate again when you start right there, because then we want the expression to start right at the front of the note and not after you play the notes, right? Stay there. Now let's keep going. Start in that B flat, same sound. Now interesting. Tape. Now same B flat. Now a little light, vibrate. So. Because now the stuff's gonna happen. Big stuff. And make sure that's truly an eighth note. It's okay, one more time just to feel better about it. Start there. That A is really, really long. Hold on, it's really long. So, I don't know if you noticed too in the low register, to get more sound, I was talking about this, you could move the flute forward to get more air into the low register, just a tiny bit down. That's quite long. It's like yada body. It's a quick breath, and then you have to, and that's why I do add the extra breath. That's me though. Go ahead. You have to negotiate with your teacher. Smoother. Good. Let's do together. Together. 1 and 2. It's that early.
Okay.
It's only a 16th note.
Yeah.
Let's go from here again. I'm going to just play with you because you're great. But now, because that feels really early, and then everything else is like, oh, am I right? Am I okay? Right? So let's go from here. You sound great. I'm going to play down the octave so we're not both screaming the average, I promise.
It's nice. Right, now what do you see how much that, like, so that's a little longer, and then this, I think you're playing a little fast in here because you're just running out of air. Okay.
And that's part of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that help? Mm-hmm. Do you want to do that one more time?
Yes.
Okay. What are you doing for that fingering now? Wow, you're like really playing all those notes.
Yeah.
Okay. If I can make it easier, I will. Okay, that's sort of my thing, because sometimes a gesture is more important, and sometimes I find that if I'm going from like no fingers to lots of fingers to no fingers again, sometimes it's not so clean. And we have 12 fingerings for a reason. Right? I mean,
yeah.
They're like lovely, right? So that gets rid of having to do da da da, like everything to nothing. It's so just flip the second trill key. Right, so and we kind of start it right away because you have like 5 notes to play. If you wait too long, then you're really in trouble, right? And then you're trying to do all the fingerings, you're like, whoa, right? And then it doesn't come out the way you want it to, and right? So That's the tempo. Dugga-dugga-dugga-dee is the rhythm of it. Don't hold the D for a long time because you'll be sorry. I'm always sorry when I hold that D too long. I'm like, oh no, I don't have enough time to play it. How about from the F sharp? Does that work? Mm-hmm. So it's C natural. Right, that's right. So it's the lower neighbor.
Yeah.
And this is the picture of it, right? So it's regular note, upper note, lower note, right? That shows you how, like, what notes go in what order, right? That, which is so cool. Okay, so that's trophy for that. Then this all works out really, really well, right? So do you need to write that, or you're good?
I think I'm good.
And then toss it. Bring the flute a little bit forward. Do you tongue those?
No.
Oh, I do because they're accented under a line.
Okay.
So I don't. They're not like, but they're they're not like Ian Clark, right? So it's like. Just legato, but. Okay, so they all have Nachschlag. That should also probably have a Nachschlag there. Probably should. So. Is what I think. That's what I've heard. So you want to ask your teacher about that one, okay?
Okay.
All right, and now go from here. Okay, now you tongue those, right? So,
Tongue those.
well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you've got like these guys under a slur, what's the difference between those, right? That's just like a question that you want to ask yourself from like a addition point of view, right? Like, what is that? Like, when is this line just a phrasing line, and when is it an articulation? It's very confusing, I think. I think it's very confusing. But okay, so, and if you can, people usually start the vivo a little bit slower, like you did, and they get faster. You could use a little more air at the top, more forte, like your piano is covered, and the thing is, are you playing regular, like long B flat fingering there, right? Because it's really hard, right? Oh, really? Right. Is that what you do? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, good. I only use it here because I find sometimes if I have it down, then I play everything B flat, and it's like, I think this is really noodly hard. It's really hard. Okay, and this is all the same, so I want to skip ahead because I want to talk about this stuff down here.
Okay.
This is where it gets really hot and heated, like a 1920s like black and white film where there's a big argument and somebody leaves the house and storms out and the woman's like, no, it's got that kind of feeling to it, right? So, right, and then you have. And then there's a moment on that A flat. It's like, there's really no going back. It's just gonna, so if you can do something in your sound. So that they all have turns on them.
Yeah.
So including the first one, which is not marked.
Yeah, I have that.
Right. So let's talk about how you're doing those, because I think they're not reliable for you yet.
Okay.
Are they not reliable for you yet?
Yeah, I only found out about this one like a week ago.
Are you listening to the Boryakov recording, which is, by the way, stunning online?
I don't think so.
You have to listen to the Boryakov recital. First, he plays like his flute is like down here,
He's astonishing. He's so great, and I think it's like must be like a concert in Asia or something. It's really beautiful. And sometimes there's some notes that they play differently because whatever. But and some register things that are different in the fourth movement. But so if you think of the rhythm, and incorporate the rhythm of the four pickup note, the four turn notes that you have. So you have the first note. So if your technique knows how fast it needs to play and it's organized rhythmically, then you never mess up. It's when you don't know what the rhythm is that your fingers are like, what is going on? What do I do? This is impossible. Just say this with me. Right, now we're going to play. Together. 1 and 2 and ready and go. So I'm going to start that one on the E flat. No, on the E flat.
Okay.
Right? 1 and 2.
Wait, from the C or from the E?
Let's go from maybe the pickup.
Okay.
Ta, ho, ta, ta. 1, 2, and ready. You want to play the E flat first. 1, 2, and. That's going to be an A flat because it carries through the. I know, right? Isn't it hard?
Yeah. It's
really hard, and there's like vivo. Thanks, right? Okay, 1 and 2 and. Again, 1 and 2 and. Right, A flat, F sharp because of that guy.
Right.
And the eyes get bigger. Okay, one more time. 1 and 2 and. Make sure you start that on the E flat. You're not used to that, right? So, because basically what you're doing, right, what we need to do in this, what one needs to do in this, is the contour of the shape of the 16th notes and where the notes fall is very, very specific, right? Mm-hmm. So you want the C sort of going, and then we're making the first 4 notes faster. We're incorporating this so you get 4 daga daga, and then all the rest of the 16ths are exactly in the correct speed they're supposed to be in. So you don't rush. So when you rush, what happens is then you have less time to do what you need to do as more notes pile on, right? So you want to keep that the integrity of that rhythm really like clean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try it again. 1. It's really great on my notes. Really hard. 1 and 2 and. Okay, let's go from here. From the G. 1 and 2 and. Right. Now you can also do like another way of practicing. Which would be let's start backwards. Start here. These from here. C. 1 and 2. Good, now start from here on the G. Ready? It's going to be an A flat, and. One. Again. 1 and 2 and. Good, from the G. 1 and 2. Good, from the E flat, starting on the E flat. 1, 2, and. Now, also, this unit, these 7 notes go together. The pickup is always a half step away from the next arrival tone.
Okay.
So it's a leading tone. Each one of these is a leading tone, right? So the B is a leading tone to the C, which has a turn. The D is a leading tone to the E flat. The F sharp is a leading tone to the G. Mm-hmm. So it's like very nice. It's like, oh, thank you very much. It's tonal, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go from the E flat. 1 and 2 and. Right, now let's go from the C. 1 and 2. Good, one more time. 1 and 2. You just have the C minor arpeggio that you're missing there. But.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Right, that's good, that's good. But you see how, what we did just now was we went backwards and we added things so that you're always getting to familiar material. That's another way to practice. Then, once you're finished with that, and we're finishing up now, if you need an extra breath, I like to do it before the E flat. I think that's where DeBose does it too.
Okay.
From here. Right, and keep the core of the tone there. Great. Does that help at all?
It does.
Excellent. You sound beautiful.
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, great to hear you. Great. And thank you for coming.
Thank you for helping me with
Of
this.
course, anytime. And my email address I'll give to you. I'll give to you backstage because there's no pencil here, but I'll give it to you backstage.
Oh, I have a pencil in my pocket.
Oh, you have one? I'll give it to you. And then you can, if you have questions, just or things that are. I have to give this to Diego. Things that are questionable or things that you find out that are interesting, or just whatever. That's my email.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for coming and thank you for playing. And thanks to your teachers who have done such an extraordinary job, really. It's great, phenomenal. Okay, bye.